Assalamu alaikum everybody, and a very warm welcome to lesson 4 in this little Arabic language walkthrough series that we're doing on the story of Aladdin. So, as mentioned, this is lesson 4. The last one that we did was live, and we will plan to continue doing that, inshallah. The plan is that maybe every third episode we'll do it live. We'll do a live show for like an hour, so we're going to have lots of Q&A afterwards and stuff as well. So just as a quick introduction, before we actually get into the meat of this lesson, I'll just remind you guys that we are doing a competition, and we are going to do a giveaway as well at the end of this series. I think we'll maybe do 15 episodes or something like that. So what are the prizes? The prizes are one of these jumpers, one of these mugs, and we're going to do you one of these Qur'an Galaxy lamps as well. So we can ship them anywhere in the world, so some little prizes for you as well. Mugs and jumpers, or you can have a t-shirt. If you prefer a t-shirt over a jumper, we can do them in white or we can do them in black. So those are just some giveaways for you guys as well. Secondly, we will thank all of the students on the Arabic in 60 Steps program as well, because they're the ones who make it all happen. Those are the students who kind of enroll in the program, they take their Arabic seriously, and it's because of them that we can kind of create this as a bonus for the Arabic in 60 Steps program, and we can also make it free and available for all of you guys on YouTube, and those of you who are listening on the podcast as well. And then if any of you do want to get involved in the Arabic in 60 Steps program, currently we're full, but I will be opening for another cohort in the next couple of days, inshallah. So please do go over to arabic60steps.com to go and check and see if there are spaces available. I'll also put the link in the description below as well, or if you're listening on the podcast, it will be in the show notes. So that's everything. Let's jump into it. So at the end of the last lesson, we ended up with this this last little bit of poetry, and we talked a little bit about kind of how Arabic poetry is often organized like this. It's often kind of it's called shi'r umudi, like column poetry. It's usually in 2 columns. And one of those is called a bait of poetry. Each one is called a shatr, and together they make a bait of poetry. Very nice. So let's get into it. So what we'll do in this video is we'll do this paragraph here, and then in the next video we'll do this paragraph, and then we have finished the temheed at that point. We have finished the preface or the preface. Good, so that's it, and then we're actually getting into the meat of the actual text, inshallah. So let's get into it. So what does it say? I'm going to highlight it as we go. I always forget to do that. Or actually, I'm reading this on Google Docs, so I can highlight it. Cool. Okay, here we go. So, let's see if I can highlight this whole line. Well, anyway, here's where I'm reading from. I can't seem to highlight the whole thing, but that's where I'm reading from. So, we have the name, Aladdin. We know who that is. It is Aladdin. Ba'da mawti abihi. So, ba'da, after, mawti, the death of, abihi. And that is an idafa. Quite often in the titles we end up with idafa titles. Earlier I was just looking over the walkthrough that we did of the story of Prophet Hud alayhi salam. I don't know if you guys were here for that, but it's all available. All 10 episodes of it are available on this YouTube channel. But I was noticing in that like all of the titles are all idafa titles. But anyway, the idafa title which we have for this particular lesson is after the death of his father. So his father is the one who is a khayyat, he's a tailor. So let's learn what happens after mawti abihi, after the death of his father. So, وَبَعْدَ فَتْرَةٍ مِنَ الزَّمَنِ. So, وَبَعْدَ, we've met ba'da in the title, so we know what that means. And after fatra, a fatra is just a period of time. Fatra and mudda, they mean very similar things. It just means a period of time. So after a fatra, من الزمن, after a period of a zaman, of time. مرض أبوه مرضا شديدا. Very nice. So مرض means a verb to become sick. Hence where we get the adjective مريض, meaning sick. And also the word for a nurse, which I believe is a ممرضة. Good. So مرض. He became sick. أبوه مرضا شديدا. The connoisseurs among you will know that that's what we call a maf'ul mutlaq. When we use the masdar of a particular verb plus an adjective to describe a way in which we're doing the verb. So the famous example that Arabic teachers always give is ضربه, he hit him, ضربا شديدا, a severe ضرب, a severe hitting. But in this case, he became sick, a severe sickness. مرض أبوه مرضا شديدا. ثم مات, and then مات, and then he died. Mata is a hollow verb. For those of you who would like to revise it, I believe it is, step 10 probably, hollow verbs. We do it straight after kana, because kana is obviously a hollow verb, so we do it, so we do that after. Or do we do it before? Maybe we do it in step 9 and then kana and assisters in step 10 maybe, or maybe I'm getting it the wrong way around. Perhaps the students can remind us. But mata yamutu is a hollow verb. And one thing to bear in mind about the verb mata yamutu, the masdar of which is mout, the active participle usually catches people out. The fa'il pattern, if we take another hollow verb like the verb qala, for example, it becomes qa'il. You kind of supplement that weak letter, that alif in the beginning, in the middle rather, with a hamza, and it becomes qa'il. But the word ma'it for a daya, or someone who's dead, is ma'it, isn't the word, is mayyit. The plural of which is found in the Qur'an a number of times. Al-mayyitun, the dead ones. Good. وَهُوَ يَائِسٌ مِنْ إِصْلَاحِ وَلَدِهِ. So we actually came across this verb ya'isa previously, but it means to kind of to despair at something. To become desperate about something or to despair at something. And he despaired min islahi waladihi. So he despaired at the trying to straighten out the islah of his walad. من إصلاح ولده الذي كان يرجو له النجاح والتوفيق. Very nice. So he began to despair, and he despaired at the straightening out of his son, who was yarju lahu. So yarju lahu, the verb is raja, written with an alif tawila at the end, actually, a tall alif. It's actually, for those of you who speak Somali, by the way, there's the verb raja in Somali, which means to hope for something, and it's the same meaning. So he hoped for him النجاح. ما معنى النجاح؟ النجاح يعني التوفيق. Najah means tawfiq, it means success, really. Najah directly means success. Tawfiq has a slightly different meaning, which I'll talk about in a second, but you might have heard me in the past talk about the fact that I went to a university in Palestine called Jami'atun Najah, the Jami'ah, the University of Najah, of success. What tawfiq? Tawfiq, in my experience, has a little bit more of an abstract meaning. Like when you say good luck to people, you say bit tawfiq. Or even you can make a dua for people and say Allah yuwaffaq. I've heard that lots of times. And it does really mean success, but it means success, but it's a little bit more abstract than that. Perhaps from just the context of those two examples I gave, will give you a bit more of an idea of its nuance. وَلَمْ يَتْرُكْ مُصْطَفَى الْخَيَّاط. Mustafa al-Khayyat, that's the name of his father. So وَلَمْ يَتْرُكْ, and he did not leave لِزَوْجِهِ وَوَلَدِهِ إِلَّا دُكَّانَهُ الصَّغِيرَ. So he did not leave لِزَوْجِهِ, for his spouse, وَوَلَدِهِ, and his son, or his boy, إِلَّا دُكَّانَهُ, except his dukkan. Sorry about that clicking, by the way, it's the pen, it's just a habit that I have. Anyway, so he only leaves the dukkan, he only leaves his shop. What kind of a shop is it? It's دُكَّانَهُ الصَّغِيرَ, his small shop. وَرَأَتْ تِلْكُمْ الْأَرْمَلَةِ. You don't see the term al-armala very much. But anyway, ra'at, make a note here actually, I'll highlight it. The word ra'at, because ra'at is from the verb ra'a. It's not always exactly easy to recognize that sometimes. I mean, the verb ra'a is really Arabic's only real irregular verb, because in that case, ra'a, we've actually lost the alif maqsura entirely, right? Ra'a is usually written ra, alif with a hamza, and then alif maqsura. Yeah, but in this case, we've completely lost it. So we just have ra'at. Good. So this armala. What is an armala? Well, I'll read the explanation that the author gives, then I'll just tell you what it means. So it's a mar'atu, al-mar'atu allati mata zawjuha. So it's a mar'atu allati, who has mata, died, zawjuha, her husband or her spouse. So it's a widow, right? It's a person whose spouse has died. Where are we? So anyway, so we have anna waladaha, but it's the anna is kind of referring back to the ra'at. It's like she saw that waladaha, and then in brackets Aladdin, because that's who it's referring to. Len yakhlufa, good. So len is how we make verbs negative in the future. It's saying he will not do something. Yakhluf, So khalafa yakhlufu means to succeed, but not succeed in a najah sense, in a success sense, rather to succeed as in to come after. Hence where we get the term khalifatun from. A khalifa means a successor. Often, in kind of our Islamic studies, we kind of get confused and maybe think it's like a leader. We think it's the leader of the Muslims, it's the khalifa. But it's not really, it's the one who is the successor, who's the one who's come after, who has succeeded the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his role as the, as the khalifa. Khalifa as well, just whilst we're on that route, the name khalifa, it's one of these names which it has a ta' marbuta on the end, but it's a masculine name. There's a few, Usama, Hamza. There's a few of these masculine names. Or Ubaida, I believe, is a masculine name. I believe it is anyway. Although you don't get many Ubaidas anymore. Never heard of or met an Ubaida in my life. Anyway. Okay, so رأت أن ولدها, she saw that her son Aladdin لن يخلف أباه في صناعته. He will not succeed his father in his صناعة, in his trade. Good. لميله إلى البطالة واللعب. Good. So لميله, there's a few things going on here. There's le, I'm going to highlight it if I can. There's le, mail, and then the he on the end. So your mail is your tendency or your inclination to do something. So لميله is sort of because of his inclination towards البطالة واللعب. البطالة واللعب is just silliness. Yeah, البطالة, messing around or whatever, being involved in idle tasks, واللعب, and messing around and playing. Literally from the verb لعب, to play. فباعت الدكان. So she sold. The verb باع in the present tense, يبيع, دكان, the shop. So she sold the shop. وظلت تقتات بثمنه مدة طويلة حتى أنفقت كل ما عندها من النقود. Very nice. وظلت تقتات. So she continued the consuming, the taqtat, بثمنه. So the thaman means the price of something, or the value of something. There is another term, si'r, means the price of something. You can say kam si'r, in a shop or whatever, kam si'r, what is the price? But thaman, I've never heard it used in that context, in like a colloquial context, thaman. It does have an elative though, ethman. The term ethman, it's something to be more valuable. But anyway, so she continued to consume. This verb dhalla means to continue to do something or to carry on. So she carried on consuming its worth. Muddatan tawilatan, a long mudda. You notice as well, actually, I mentioned at the term when we talked about fatra, meaning like a period of time, and mudda, meaning a period of time as well. And those two mean essentially the same thing. Yeah, so a period of time, just like a fatra, tawila, for a long time. So she sold the family assets, basically, and she lives off that. حتى أنفقت كل ما عندها. حتى, until, أنفقت. أنفق. Good. This is a term just meaning to spend, right? أنفق, it's a form for verb, أنفق. And it's used in the Qur'an a number of times. The reason why I was kind of thinking was I was trying to recall an ayah, of how people maybe spend in the way of Allah or something like that. I know I have وَيُنْفِقُونَ بِأَمْوَالِهِم or something like that in my head, but anyway, it means to spend, right? So she spends كُلَّ, meaning a fatha on the end because it's the object, it's what she's spending. كُلَّ مَا عِنْدَهَا, all of that which is with her, all of that which she has. مِنَ النُّقُودِ, of money. مِنَ النُّقُودِ. Nuqud is a plural. There's a number of different words for money. I mean, in Palestine at university, we call it musari for money, or if you're in Egypt, you'd probably call it, what do they call it? Fulus. Fulus, I think, originally really means like pennies, but fulus is what it is. But a fasih term is nuqud. Specifically for like coins, though, is what it sounds like. It's something that I really benefited from traveling in Arab countries is I learnt the numbers so well by learning the different currencies and stuff. I noticed, right, like So in Jordan, they use dinars, I believe, right? So the students who went to Jordan, dinar has a plural, dananir, right? So if you're using the numbers between 3 and 10, all of the students who went to Jordan, they knew the numbers really well because they'd all heard people using the numbers 3 to 10 and the plural dananir, but then all the other numbers with just dinar, right? So like they knew that, they got that down, the students who went there. But us who went to Palestine, they use shekel, the term shekel, for whatever number. Khams shekel, you know, elf shekel, mid shekel, any amount of shekel, it's always shekel. If you use the plural shawakil, you don't really mean, you don't mean shekels, you mean like coins. If you say عندك شواكل, what you really mean is like if you've got change, you've got coins. But anyway, so yeah, نقود, مصاري, فلوس, and that's it for this lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. I don't believe it's been a long one today, but I think it has been very beneficial, inshallah. So in the next lesson, what we will be doing is we will complete this last paragraph here that I'm showing you. We'll complete all of that in the next lesson, inshallah. If you have any questions or any comments, please put them in the description below. And actually, I don't actually believe I outlined what you need to do to be entered to win yourself a jumper or t-shirt, a mug, and a Qur'an Galaxy lamp. So what you do have to do is you have to comment on every single one of the videos. You have to like and share all of the videos as well, and you have to subscribe to the channel too. So that's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you come back next week, and I'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum.